My challenge today is try to present the perspective of the sponsors of these antibiotics and other pharmaceuticals, where we're headed and where the direction. And first thing, I want to commend NIAA for hosting, is this the sixth one, seventh, to try to bring a diverse group of people with different perspectives, different goals to find the common ground to move forward. So I think Dr. Flynn, his one statement yesterday hit that I think the debate now, and to paraphrase him, is oftentimes around the relative impact of antibiotic use in animals for overall resistance in human medicine. And I think it was a great statement that oftentimes we get wrapped around the wheel, we get deeper in that discussion about that relative impact, and realizing science, as in the South Carolina study, the more extensive genomic studies, is going to help answer that question. But the interim, how do we come and push forward to find solutions now that can solve and make sure we're doing the right thing? So I think we can agree that the impact of animal use of antibiotics is not zero on resistance concern. But we also can get an agreement that it impacts animal health and welfare, it impacts food safety, it impacts sustainability. So as we look at alternatives, we have to look how all those are integrated and intertwined and look to move forward and avoid solutions that may have some unintended consequences to overall hitting that impact. And I think, one of the statements, I think it was Dr. Glisson was saying, some of the steps we take, for example, moving to totally antibiotic-free, may lead to use of more medically important antibiotics, which is not the goal. The goal is to move forward and reduce resistance and reduce the drive to resistance. So let's make sure as we move forward, we go forward. As we look at this, I think the pharmaceutical group would look at it in three different buckets. One is collaboration, second is communication, and then a catalyst for innovation and progress. So I appreciate Richard's comment on collaboration. I think we cannot underestimate the collaboration it's taking for this momentous change in how antibiotics are used in the U.S. And we've identified the gaps, so we move forward. But this is going to be a significant change. Come January 1st, antibiotics medically important applied are not going to be used for any performance uses. And we can talk about refining and changing and altering some of the labels that remain, but those medically important antibiotics will be under the oversight of a veterinarian, which in feed will be only according to indication. I think we had that discussion yesterday. How can we ensure that these are used only according to indication? Our beef producer representative earlier said we only use things according to label. In the feed, it'll only be able to use according to label and that indication for that to legally happen. We're making progress. Do we have some hurdles? Yes. Do we need to work out some things? And we do have our new labels out there that people can see and go. And it's been a tremendous effort and progress, but we're going to hit that point where those changes are going to take effect January 1st. And part of this collaboration, as far as working with the feed industry, working with other stakeholders, is being out and talking and explaining and understanding. And Elanco, like a lot of pharmaceutical companies, have been out there engaged, being partners with FDA, having webinars to try to drive that, ensure people are compliant with the law, but ensure they're doing this right, because this is a great opportunity to demonstrate trust and responsibility, and how do we ensure that that goes forward. And that kind of leads into the second point about from collaborations to communication. So part of the goal and effort of people in the pharmaceutical industry is to communicate back and forth. There's some great stories about how antibiotics are used responsibly. The sophistication that was explained earlier today about veterinary medicine and how products are used is a great story and is an accurate story. So how do we explain that to a broader audience? How do we communicate that? Secondly, how do we show and explain where is there a middle ground? Where is there a path for responsible use of antibiotics? Where is there a path going forward that drives to the positive outcome we want without leading to some unintended consequences in going forward? So as we've looked at that communication phase, it's been interacting with our customers and clients, veterinarians, the different stakeholders and part of their customers' customers to help understand. It is their decision where they go on how they use. But we believe in choice, but choice has consequences. And as we look at things being together, and I think there was a great statement how we look at animal health, human health, and environmental health are all interconnected. The realities, 1 in 3 people still are getting the wrong nutrition. And it's not about calories, it's talking about quality of diet, it talks about micronutrients and protein. And that's globally. Some of it may be access, but oftentimes it's eating the wrong products. And the impact of having a balanced diet to cognitive and overall development is significant and repeatable. We look at 60% increased demand in protein. I was watching between the game. Who won that baseball game last night?
Come on, Kerry.
Oh, it was the Cubs. Yeah, I was during the game. Yeah, one of the commercials was talking about we need to double food production by 2050. Protein is estimated in some of the estimates 60% by 2050. The concern about that is that estimate underestimated the increase in demand, and our productivity is slowing down. The increase of technology innovation to drive that productivity needs is decreasing, so we're not heading that way. The reality, when we look at it, 20% of animals are lost by death and disease. That's an untold food waste story. That's the reality. No matter how animals are raised, no matter what interventions are taking, disease is out there, and we're going to have to respond for the welfare, but also for the health of the world. We're using 1.6 of our global resources annually to produce the food we produce now, so how can we look at long-term sustainability? So that leads us to the next path, and how do we become a catalyst for change, a catalyst for progress? So our focus, and others, is look at new innovation. Now, the innovation may be a new product as an immunomodulator, as a new product, a new vaccine, a bacteriophage, an enzyme, but it can be just applying the right technology, the right genetics, the right biosecurity in a better way. A big part of that is in data management. Now, we're talking a lot about data related to reporting and transparency and trust building, but data, moving it from data to knowledge, allows, through analytics, people to make better decisions. How do you drive people to look at their information and know when it is appropriate and the outcome driven to the use of antibiotics or other tools or other innovations? So as a company, as well as others, we've invested significant money to try to develop analytics so we can help our customers use their data to make better decisions. And the last is innovation. I spent time leading a team of very bright people, leading products from an idea to global registration. And there's lots of cool innovation out there. But we have to confirm that they're safe and effective. The focus for Elanco is to invest that money. 90% of our research money last year went to reduce problems that require shared class antibiotics use. And we've brought things to market. We've refilled the pipeline. But we need a standard for safety and efficacy that can be met. If you look at statistics, no one would develop a new product. The head of R&D at Elanco told me, well, you're going to be right 90% of the time on any product you look at, because only 1 in 10 at the best will ever make it to registration. Some estimates of hundreds of millions of dollars to get a product there. So a couple things. How do we make sure we're moving forward with the right innovation? How do we bring them to market to solve these problems? But again, let's make sure our policy, our process, doesn't get ahead of the science and the new tools. At this time, certain tools of antibiotics are necessary to protect the health, welfare, and food safety. Let's make sure as we move forward together that we find solutions that have long-term positive for people, for animals, and for the planet.